Hi there, RC Girl here. Have you been wanting to get into FPV drone flight for a long time, but just don't really know where to start? Today we're going to check out the Emax Tinyhawk Ready to Fly kit that comes with everything you need to get started in FPV. Very reasonably priced. It's actually quite a steal. For 165 bucks, you get the full kit, goggles, drone, battery, chargers, transmitter, and everything. So now I have no excuses. So I'm going to break down what I've learned so far, and then we'll follow my journey into my first FPV flight. So let's take it away. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Here you're gonna find RC reviews, tips and tricks, run, bash, and flight videos, and other things related to RC, so consider subscribing if you guys wanna see more in the future. This is actually my first FPV setup. So what is FPV? FPV is first-person view, and you're gonna use goggles or a monitor to fly as a pilot's perspective. There's a camera on the drone itself, and you'll look through the goggles and fly it from a pilot's perspective. So I've been curious about FPV for a long time now, and every time I start doing research, there's just so much to know about different equipments, different brands. You have to learn about goggles and monitors and antennas and transmitters and camera equipment. So I always got super overwhelmed and kind of just gave up. And then Emax reached out to me a couple months ago, said they were developing a RTF kit, everything you need included, and I was super stoked. They sent this to me to try out for a beginner. So this is my first FPV setup, zero experience. So this is going to be interesting. Oh boy, oh boy, oh my gosh. Having a complete kit is super helpful because this can be a pretty expensive hobby. Some goggles alone are like $400 or $500. And to invest that much into a hobby that you're not quite sure that you're into is kind of outrageous. So if you too have been looking to get into FPV, this could be a really great kit for you. First, let's start with the Tinyhawk itself. This is a 75mm brushless quad, so it has 4 brushless motors. Kept the camera up here, comes with a little cap. I'll put all the technical specs on the screen, but from what I can tell, it looks like a great design. The propellers are actually inverted to keep the center of gravity low. And it's marketed as an indoor racing drone, but unless you have like a mansion or super tall ceilings or are very good at flying these already, it's gonna be pretty difficult to learn indoors. I would probably recommend a nice soft landing grassy park for your first flight. It comes with this durable plastic frame with prop guards, and I've seen some videos of this thing, people like tanking it. It looks like it's been able to withstand some pretty hard crashes, so it's gonna be great for a beginner. You're gonna crash a ton. Battery goes underneath. It comes with a JST PH plug. You're gonna get about a 4-minute flight time with the battery provided, and that's pretty standard for this size of drone, but you're gonna wanna pick up some extras because it's really hard to learn 4 minutes at a time. You wanna be careful when you're purchasing more batteries that you get the right connector because this is not a standard connector on all batteries, so just keep an eye out for that. It also has a port for a micro USB, and that allows you to plug your drone into the computer, and you can use this open source software called Betaflight. It's free, and that allows you to configure some of the flight settings. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail later on in the video. And lastly, it is compatible with FR Sky transmitters. So if you have one of those, all you have to do is bind it directly to the Tinyhawk, but we are going to use the transmitter that's provided in the kit. Next, let's go over our goggles. This is my first experience with FPV goggle setup. Comes with 2 antennae. I'm not quite sure the best positioning of these. It didn't really say in the instructions packet. It has this nice foam padding here that goes against your face. It also has this fan here, and that's going to prevent fogging of the lenses. The monitor inside the goggles is adjustable, so you can move it closer to your face or further away. You can also select different channels and frequencies. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a DVR or a video recorder, so you're not going to be able to video your flights, but I'll show you guys what it looks like from my phone. And it's actually a really nice clear signal for the most part. It does get a little interference indoors when the signal's bouncing off the walls, but it's actually a pretty good video quality feed when you are outdoors. This is a park flyer, so you're not going to get miles and miles of signal, but in your local park or your backyard, you're going to do pretty well. Next, we have our transmitter, and this is your pretty standard micro drone transmitter. It has the antenna here. Here's the on button and our trim settings. This is your throttle and your yaw, left and right, and then this is going to go left and right, and then forward and backwards. Has a micro USB charge port. I'll show you guys how to arm the drone when we plug it in, but it's with this switch here. The first click is going to have a beep on the drone, so if you ever crash or lose the drone, it'll make a beeping noise so you can find it after you crash. And then the second one is you arm the drone and you want your throttle all the way down. And then it also comes with 3 flight modes, so beginner, intermediate, and experienced. I've been in the beginner mode, which is the lowest rates. You can start to work your way up. They say don't stay in beginner mode for too long because it's not very realistic. It limits your controls too much. As I mentioned, it comes with one cell LiPo. This is a 450 milliamp high discharge, so it has 80C and 160C bursts. It's also a high voltage, so it actually has higher voltage than a typical one cell. It comes with a JST-PH connector, and as I mentioned, you want to make sure that when you're purchasing extra batteries that you're getting the right connector, because some just have a little nub and that's not going to reach underneath to plug into the drone itself. I actually found a great deal on Amazon. It's like 4 for 20 bucks. I'll put a link to that in the description below. I think it's a little bit lower discharge rate, but someone said that they didn't really see a difference. So you can also run up to 600 milliamp. Comes with a micro USB cable to charge your transmitter and your goggles. And this is the USB connector to charge your LiPos. You can charge at either 0.2 or 0.6 amps, and it's actually the bigger slot that these slot into. And you can charge up to 6 batteries at a time, which is kind of cool. And it also does this little rave light show when you plug it in. It's gonna have a green light when it's charging and it turns off when it's completely charged. This is the battery pack for the goggles. Slots in back here. And I forgot to mention for the goggles, there's no on or off switch. Once you plug it in, that's turning the goggles on. And one thing I did learn is that you don't want to turn on your goggles without the antennas connected. It can be really damaging. So make sure that you have the antennas on before you plug it in. Comes with the world's tiniest screwdriver, some extra hardware, and another JST-PH connector. Then we have 4 extra props and some Emax decals. And then lastly, a quick start guide and the instructions packet. It wasn't super detailed. Didn't really have information about whether you can upgrade the antennas or what angles they should be at. I think it should be at a 90-degree angle. I'm not too sure about that. If you guys have some advice there, feel free to shoot me a comment. And then it didn't really talk about Betaflight programming at all. So I learned about that by watching some YouTube videos. I think you're just gonna have to learn by some trial and error. Then it comes with a nice handy dandy padded carrying case. Pretty cool. And then as I mentioned, Betaflight is an open source software for Mac or PC, and you can use that to configure your flight settings. Someone suggested that I up the rates to 670 and also set the angle and horizon strength to about 70. I have no idea what that means. So I'm gonna have to do some research. And as I learn more, I'll update the description box below. If you guys have any advice on programming and all that, feel free to shoot me a comment. And next I want to share some resources with you guys. So I did have the chance to play around in Betaflight a little bit. There's not a ton of great beginner setup videos, especially specifically for the Tinyhawk. So I'll share some of the things that I've modified with it and go over some of the basic programming. And then I'll quickly go over another great resource called Project Mockingbird. Ian Giddings on Facebook shared this with me, and it's been a great resource for getting started with some of the programming in Betaflight. What it is a shared Google Doc, and it walks through some of the setup and configuration and some of the optimized rates that people really like. So if you guys want to see what people have been using in this and found really valuable for setup tips, feel free to check it out. So here we have Project Mockingbird for the Tinyhawk. It's been a great resource as I learn more about FPV and some of the tune setups and everything in Betaflight. So yeah, it'll walk through some of the setup, basically get Betaflight, all the different configurations, all the PID settings, which I'm still learning about. You can adjust the roll, pitch, yaw. I'll show you guys what this looks like in Betaflight, but really great resource. There's also a couple people in it already. So yeah, check it out if you guys want to take this beyond just flying around, but actually dive into some of the programming. There's a lot of potential here. So now we'll go over to Betaflight. I have a Mac and all I had to do was go to the Chrome Web Store, download it, and we're gonna launch the app now. And here's the home screen. So you're gonna have to connect your Tinyhawk to the computer with the micro USB cable. So actually the one that it came with wouldn't work for me. And I searched on the internet, I was like, why will it not connect to the thing? So people said, try another cable. So I tried a different one and this one seems to work. So it's gonna do some little flashing. One thing to mention quickly is that when you do have your drone plugged into the computer, you can still use your transmitter and it'll translate those settings to Betaflight and show you what it's doing on the computer. You can also plug in a battery and it'll give you your battery voltage and all that. I'm not gonna run it with a battery, but I am gonna turn on the transmitter and show you guys what that does. It also turns off my Wi-Fi in the house. So I'll zoom in on these screens and show you guys what it's doing. I have it as auto connect, and so every time I connect it, it's gonna automatically connect. Otherwise, you can connect and choose your ports. So let's connect it. On your setup page, it's pretty cool. You can move the Tinyhawk around and it knows what configuration it's in. I also had to do a calibration because my drone seemed like it was a little bit off. I did have sort of a bad crash and the camera came loose. So I set it on a flat surface and it'll calibrate the drone for you. So here's the mode screen, and this is basically going to be the screen where you assign your switches. This transmitter is already preset, so you don't have to do pretty much anything to it, but if you have a Taranis transmitter, this is going to be where you can set your switches. So if you see this little yellow dot here, that's going to move around when you click the switch, and when it's aligned with this bar here, that means that's what the switch is in. So the switch is here. And then when I click it, it aligns with this, and that's going to be your beeper mode for the drone. When you click it one more time, that arms the drone. So I'll show you again. It's here, and then arms the drone, and that's going to be the arming. Your other switches on this side, this is your angle mode. That's beginner mode. Click it again. This little dot here aligns with that. That's the horizon mode. And then click it one more time, and that's acro mode. So that's the more extreme berserker mode, and I would say work your way up to that mode. I hope that gives you guys a good sense of what this mode screen does. Another cool screen is the OSD screen. This, you can customize the monitor or goggle screen. Pretty cool. So you can move these things around if you want actually had it show altitude. I don't know if we have telemetry on the Tinyhawk, but I put the altitude there. It has your battery voltage here. And you can click or click off if you want those to show, and you can also move them around the screen. So I named mine Tinyhawk RC Girl. One thing I did want it to show warnings pretty prominently here. So when the battery is low voltage, around 3.1, it'll flash here on the main screen. Another thing to mention is that you can have the goggles on while you're messing with these settings. And once you click save in the corner, it'll transfer those settings to the goggles. It'll be a pretty immediate update. Lastly, I wanted to highlight the PID tuning page. And this is where you do all your rate modifications. So this is where you can super nerd out. It has 3 different rate profiles. That's the angle, horizon, and acro. Still learning the beginner intermediate experience, but angle, horizon, acro profile 1, 2, and 3. I believe profile 1 is your beginner, your angle mode. And then there's a bunch of different rate profiles. I'm not too sure what those do. I think you can save a configuration and transfer among those. So if you want to save a profile 1 and modify the settings, but then you want to go back to the original one, I think you can save multiple profiles to each one. So once I've been using the drone outside, I feel like I didn't have a ton of control. Your rates are pretty low. So what I did is I upped the angle and horizon strength to 35. I think they start you at like 20 or something. And first I upped it to 50, that was too much, and then I put it up to 35, and I think that's a happy medium where you're gonna have pretty good control for a beginner, but it gives you a little bit more control when you're outside and you have more space. You still have the angle limited to 40, so that's not gonna let you go in those extreme movements. And then let's go to profile 2. So your angle limit is 55 degrees now, so you're going to be able to be in more extreme positions, I believe. I hope this gives you guys just a quick overview of the potential. There's a ton of different tune settings you can mess with, and Project Mockingbird goes into a lot more detail about what to set these to. So definitely take a look at that. So that's pretty much it. Now we're ready to fly. I got the Tinyhawk, I got my transmitter and goggles, I got my 5 batteries, and let's take it outside.